Hello, good morning, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about books. What a surprise. Okay, so today we have a crazy ridiculous book haul of things that I got around the last week of December and the first week of January. This is kind of a Christmas book haul and kind of not a Christmas book haul because some of these were Christmas presents, some of them were Christmas presents to myself, most of them are things that I'm borrowing from people, and some of them are things that I just bought because I wanted them. And they do not have the label of Christmas present because it was after New Year's when I did so. There's a whole heck of a lot of stuff here. I'm just gonna get started. I don't think I'm gonna go into a lot of depth about all of them because there is a lot, and that would be a lot. Rest assured, none of these are new releases. That's just not the life I'm living right now. The things that I'm excited about are not new. They're new to me. I'm also obsessed with this shirt and these sleeves, because it's literally just like a giant rectangle, and it's gorgeous and lovely and blah, blah, blah. And it's a crop top, which is fabulous. It's too cold for a crop top, but I'm wearing it anyway. Moving all of this stuff to over here so that I can film today, it's all gotten disorganized. So there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. We're just living our best life here, and we're just gonna jump in. So the first thing that I have is the Night World trilogy. I am borrowing these from a friend because she is obsessed with L.J. Smith and she wants me to be obsessed with L.J. Smith too. So I'm going to read them, see what I think. I'm pretty sure I read this first one at some point in the past, but I don't remember, so I'm going to read it again. And each of these includes 3 novellas or stories within, like they're bind-ups of 3 books. So there's 9 books in total here, although there's only 3 physical books here. So we've got Secret Vampire, Daughters of Darkness, and Spellbinder in book number 1. This is number 3. We have Dark Angel, The Chosen, and Soulmate in book number 2. And we have Huntress, Black Dawn, and Witchlight in book number 3, which is thrilling. I'm very excited about all of those. I am sure they are full of teenage angst, which is gonna be fun. It might be annoying, but it will also be fun. Next on the list, we have the Forbidden Game, which is a bind-up of the Forbidden Game trilogy, which is The Hunter, The Chase, and The Kill. This is also by L.J. Smith. I am also borrowing this from the same friend. She just decided to give me everything at once to borrow, so she provided me with reading material for the next 3 or 4 months. Not even gonna lie. Next on the list is Dark Visions, again, L.J. Smith. Again, this is a trilogy, a bind-up of 3 books, and it is The Strange Power, The Possessed, and The Passion. I'm not sure which of these are all in the same world. The Night World, like 9 are all in the same world, but these other 2 bind-ups, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. Also by L.J. Smith, also borrowed from the same person, we have The Night of the Solstice and The Heart of Valor. These are definitely a different world than the vampire stuff that I have shown previously. I'm pretty sure these 2 go together because the cover art looks the same, or like looks like it was designed to fit together. So I think these 2 are a series. We'll just keep going on the books that I've borrowed. Next on the list is Pegasus by Robin McKinley. Robin McKinley is, definitely one of my go-to, fantasy authors. Everything that she's written, I want to read and own and stuff. She's up there with Tamara Pierce. I love all of her stuff. I think it's great. I don't know anything about Pegasus. I'm also borrowing this from the same friend. Like I said, she provided me with most of the material for this book haul, I'll be honest. And her copy doesn't have a book jacket, so I don't even know. I don't know the synopsis, I don't know what's happening. I know it's called Pegasus, and it's by Robin McKinley, and I trust Morgan to give me good books, so we'll see how that goes. Next we have The Summoning, The Awakening, and The Reckoning. These are a trilogy. I have wanted to read them for a very long time. I am borrowing these as well from Morgan. I asked for the first one, and she just gave me the whole trilogy. So, that just shows what kind of a generous and giving person Morgan is. She's great. So yes, I also have this trilogy, which I'm also very excited about, because like I said, it's been on my radar for a long time. I just haven't ever, like, looked into actually picking it up. Okay, next, also borrowed from Morgan, we have Also Known As by Robin Benway. This is about teenage female spies, which is my shit. I don't know if I've expressed this on this channel, because I've expressed a lot of things in video that have never made it past editing, but teenage female spies is one of my buzzwords. It's one of those things where if I hear it, I want to read it. I will read anything that has spies in it where they are girls, or spies in it where they are teens, and also girls. Girls is the mitigating factor here. I find male spies a little bit less interesting. I find them overdone. But teenage female spies, my thing. I love it. I love it. And so I'm borrowing this from Morgan as well, because I'm here for it. I'm just reorganizing these as they're sitting on the floor in front of me. It's fine. Okay, then next on the list we have Once a Witch by Carolyn McCullough. This I'm also borrowing from Morgan. I don't know anything about it, except that it's witchy, and she likes it. There's a stack of books in here that she included when she gave me books that I wanted to borrow, that she was like, I think you'll like these, or I think you need to read these, and I haven't really looked at them. I just know that she thinks that I would like them, so I have them. Once a Witch is one of those, and it looks really interesting. The aesthetic of this cover looks so fun, and I am ready for it. Next on the list we have Ruined by Paula Morris. I'm also borrowing this from my friend, and it is about ghosts and graveyards and things, and that's very exciting. I believe I put this on my TBR a really long time ago and forgot about it. So when I saw that Morgan had it, I was like, can I borrow that? And she was like, yeah. And now I have, and I am ready to read it. I'm ready to read all of these, which is a problem because I can't read all of them at the same time. It's just, it won't happen. It's not gonna happen, but I will get through all of them eventually. Next on the list is Magic Can Be Murder by Vivian Van Velde. Vivian Van Velde is also one of those authors that I love. I started with her Heir Apparent book, and I've read a bunch of her other stuff, like Izzy Willy Nilly, and it's the Now You See It, and just a bunch of her other stuff. This one I hadn't heard of because my library at home didn't have it, my library at school didn't have it, so I'm also very excited about this. This is another thing that I'm borrowing, but Vivian Van Velde is on a good list. Next is Rhymes with Witches by Lauren Miracle. This, honestly, like, Rhymes with Witches, the cover art, it reminds me of, like, Click, or Pretty Little Liars, or Gossip Girl, and, like, teenagers, teenage drama, high school, but also there's some magic. It doesn't, like, I don't know, the outside cover doesn't feel too much like it's gonna get too deep and dark and serious, but, like, the vibe of this is, like, boyfriend drama magic. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't read the back of this at all, I just looked at the cover. So that's first impressions upon graphic design. Alright, I think that's all the books that I borrowed from Morgan. There's one more book that I have borrowed from, well, there's a few more books that I borrowed. There's a couple more books that I borrowed from other friends, but those are all the ones from my main gal, Morgan. So next on the list is Ghost Story by Jim Butcher. This is book 11, maybe? I have no idea what number I'm on in the series anymore. So I'm borrowing this series from a friend, a one-by-one. I have been for the last year or so, and now I'm on Ghost Story, which is gonna be a time. The book right before this was called Changes, and the ending of it was devastating to my soul, so I have to get ready for this. I have to prepare myself before I read this, and I'm not ready. I am not ready. The ending of the book just previous to this was crazy. Crazy and sad and so, like, it was devastating deep in my soul. I have to prepare, but I am so, It's gonna be a ride. When I get to that book, it's gonna be an emotional ride, I am pretty sure. The next 3 books that I have here, I'm also borrowing from a friend, different friend again, and these 3 are all in a similar kind of vein, and they have less to do with my novel reading practices and more to do with, like, me trying to learn how to be an adult. So, first we have Packed to the Rafters by Douglas Mayo, and then Arts Management and Entrepreneurial Approach, and finally, Management for the Arts by William J. Burns. Arts Management was by Carla Walter, and basically, the 3 of these are books about arts management and how to run a business that promotes the art and creates art and that kind of thing, which is something that I'm super interested in. I didn't manage to fit in the classes that were actually on this that used these books when I was at school, but now that I'm out of school and I have time, I am borrowing these books and putting myself through the class on my own a little bit, because I need to know this if I want to make my dreams happen. So those are like textbooks, basically. Textbooks that I decided to buy for myself because I like learning new things. That's it. That's the whole story. I was really good at school and I like textbooks. Once again, in that vein, I have more textbooks. So, I bought myself Improvisations for the Theater, the 3rd edition by Viola Spolin. This is a book of exercises and workshops and advice, and it talks about improv and acting and developing improvisational tools and things like that, and so far, I've started it, I'm on page 51, so far it's fabulous, and I cannot wait to get into the rest of it, because it just, everything in it speaks to my soul so far, so, you know, love that. Next, I have The Empty Space, a book about the theater, deadly, holy, rough, and immediate by Peter Brook. Peter Brook was a director in, I don't remember what particular, he's pretty recent, he's pretty contemporary. This book was published in 1968. So he was a theater guy, a theorist and director in the 1960s and 70s and that kind of thing, and, you know, it's just theater theory. It's Peter Brook's ideas about what the theater is, what the theater should be, what we're striving for, what we're working against, what we're, you know, all of that stuff. Again, I've started this one so far, pretty interesting. I agree with a lot of it. I don't necessarily agree with all of it, if I'm being honest. But that's how it should be. We're moving forward in the world, we're moving forward in things, and so I should have some different ideas from people in 1968. Right? That sounds right. The other thing that I bought is Directors on Directing by Toby Cole and Helen Critch Chinoy, and this is just a collection. This is just a collection of essays and excerpts, basically, of theatrical directors throughout history and their thoughts on directing, which is fun. I've heard it's a little bit white male heavy in terms of like who gets to speak and who gets to have ideas. Okay, these next 3 books are also in the vein of books about theater and theater things, because my life focuses on that like a lot, like a whole lot. And so we have Scenes for Young Actors, the Actor's Book of Contemporary Stage Monologues, and Scenes and Monologues from Steinberg/ATCA New Play Award finalists from 2008 to 2012. So these 3 books are just excerpts, scenes, and monologues from various plays and shows of the contemporary era. And I need them because I don't have things like this, and so I'm just starting my collection of scenes and monologues, which is gonna continue growing for my entire life, just like the rest of my collections. Alright, and then to cap this all off, we're gonna get back to the novels, the fiction, the things that I love as well. So, the first on the list, The Sorcerer Heir by Cinda Williams Chima. This book is the 5th book in the Air Chronicles, and I am nervous about it. The first 3 I loved. The first 3 were fabulous. They were great, they hit it up of the park, each one built on the next, and I felt like the first 3 wrapped it up. I didn't know that there were 2 more books in this series for, until the 5th one came out. Like, the 5th one came out and I was like, wait a minute, they published a 4th one? So I bought the 4th one, and I read the 4th one, and it disappointed me a lot. So I put off buying this for a long time, but I'm determined to finish the series. I did love the first 3. The 4th one was a disappointment, but hopefully this one will bring it back, will bring it home for me and finish off the series. We'll see. But yeah, I'm nervous about it. Next on the list is The Angels of Music by Kim Newman. This book is basically like if Eric, the Phantom of the Opera, were Charlie from Charlie's Angels and solved crimes, I guess. I read the first 100 pages of this, and I know this is the first time I'm mentioning it on my channel in a haul or whatever. I read the first 100 pages of this and I can't go on with it right now. I just can't make myself continue reading it. I had to start annotating it because the writing was so bad for me. And I might come back to it eventually because I like the idea of picking it apart and trying to figure out what I feel like personally has gone so wrong with this book. But right now, I can't bring myself to keep coming back to it because it bores me. Because I'm finding it boring to read. Maybe I'll make a video picking this apart in the future if we're talking about if I make some not so positive videos. But right now, I bought this. It's gorgeous. It sounds really fun. And the first 100 pages in, I'm bored. Next on the list is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This book I have heard really fun things about. It's a fantasy, it's about pirates and con artists and thieves, and it looks pretty fun, and it looks really cool. And I've heard good things about it, so I bought a copy. Next on the list is Shades of Milk and Honey by Mary Robinette Kowal. Kowal? I don't know. The cover art's gorgeous. I don't know if you can, tell through the camera, but it's beautiful. It gives me life. This cover art, this book, it's, according to the cover art and according to the back of the book, this is Regency, Pride and Prejudice, all of that kind of stuff, but also there's magic. Which is, literally everything that I've ever wanted. It's historical fiction, and there's an element of magic, and it feels like the element of magic is gonna be the sprinkles on top of the cake here, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna get really bogged down in dark, which is something that I've been shying away from. I'm trying to find some of that light, fluffy stuff to get me through the dark times in my life, and I think this is gonna be, hopefully, one of those. It's so gorgeous. The cover art and the description on the back is full of light and love and wonderful things. Next on the list we have Trigger Warnings, Short Fictions and Disturbances by Neil Gaiman. Gaiman, I never remember. I think it's Gaiman. I don't know. Anyway, this is a book of short things by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman became one of my favorite authors of last year. I read Good Omens and American Gods, and his The View from the Cheap Seats, his collection of essays and introductions and nonfiction kinds of things. And so I'm just gonna keep going on the Neil Gaiman train and continue with Trigger Warning and read all of this stuff, which I'm also very excited about. I have high hopes for all of these. Honestly, I have really high hopes for all of these things, and I want to read all of them. And I am so, I can't read all of them at once, and I know that, but I want to. I want to. So, there's that. finally, the last in this really long book haul is Roses and Rot by Kat Howard. This book has been on my TBR for a really long time, too. I remember loving the cover art and the description and what it was, and I wanted to read it really badly. I put it on my priority wish list years and years ago, but I never buy things off of my wish lists, so it just didn't continue to be, I just didn't buy it, and finally I reached the point where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it. And so I did, and I no longer remember exactly what it's about, or what it says it's about, but this paperback cover is just as gorgeous as the cover that they have on Goodreads, and I am sure that when I do get around to actually reading the back of this book and remembering what it's about, that I will be in love with it again. Just like I was all those years ago. So yeah, that's it. That's it, she says, as if there are not more books than she can feasibly hold in a single stack in front of her. My book haul is huge. This is huge. There are a whole heck of a lot of books here. This is ridiculous, and I can't handle it. I'm gonna count them quickly and just let you know exactly how many books we went through in this video. There are 32 books in front of me. That is not counting the split up in the bind-ups. So there are 32 physical books in front of me. Yeah, this is gonna be literally the first half of my reading year sitting in front of me. I don't think I'm gonna touch the rest of my TBR. So I guess consider this my TBR for the first half of 2018 too? Because I just got a whole heck of a lot of things, and I am excited about all of them. I am ready to read all of them. I just need to start. So I'm gonna go get on that, and you guys have a great week. Bye! Also, I am wearing a circlet tiara thing today, and I want you to appreciate how much of a fairy princess I am.